Welcome to Episode 2 of the Mage Knight campaign, the Atlantis Guild versus the Knights Immortal. It is a 600-point campaign battle report. Before we begin the battle report, I do want to say that I want to reach out to Paul from the Mage Knight market. He's a great guy. If you're ever looking for some of these figures to get, I've worked with him a lot of times, and I would highly suggest you use him, especially regarding things like uniques and limited editions. I'll put the link to his YouTube, his eBay page, but also the Mage Knight Market Facebook page. So, thank you very much. The city of Kel'Athon was once a peaceful place, under the protection of the Black Dragon Knights, led by Paladin Prince Thirion. All that changed with the discovery of large deposits of Magestone crystal in the surrounding mountains. The Atlantis Guild desperately needs Magestone crystal to fuel their campaigns against the Black Powder rebels and the Orc raiders. High Battle Mage Oric was sent to negotiate mining rights. Come, Prince Thirion, be reasonable. We offer gold, silver, brass, iron, all that you would need to enrich yourself and defend your people. Thirion looks scathingly at the High Mage. You would teach me how to defend my people? Nonsense. You have our final offer. Take it, or let your people take it and let your people live and prosper. Thirion looks. I have endured your presence these last weeks. I will not endure your threats. The High Mage, seeing that talk is pointless, says, the time of talking is over. There is no more time. We will see what your people can endure. After the meeting, Thirion somberly approached the temple tower to deliver the news to the prefect. Lady Elizabeth, it is as if we have feared. War has come to Kel'Athon. Surely they would not openly attack the city for glittering crystals? Why? Asks Elizabeth. Thirion responds, they have their reasons. You should make preparations and provisions for the temple's defense in case I fail and lose the city. Elizabeth looks at him sternly. In case we fail, Thirion. Thirion worriedly says, it is not your duty to defend the city. Elizabeth continues forward past him. Enough! Let us make the army ready together. The local militia is quickly conscripted in the defense. The militia look worried. Prince Thirion, what should we do? We never thought they would actually attack. The Paladin Prince looks at them and assuredly says, you should do as you've been trained to do. Let us handle the rest. Yes, sir. Across the battlefield, the golems are activated. The weapons are powered up. Several sergeants bring updates of the preparation to High Mage Oric. Everything seems in order. We march tomorrow at dawn. The High Mage goes back to looking at his documents and papers. Very well, High Mage. The sergeants pause a few moments as the High Mage stares at his papers busily. High Mage? Yes? What is it? Are you certain we should attack the city? The High Mage smiles. Only fools are certain. We do what is necessary, come what may. The Black Powder rebels and the Orcs have established strongholds. We must root them out now. To do that, Magestone crystals are necessary. Fret not about certainties, young sergeant. The sergeants nod. As you say, High Mage. This is a 600-point battle. The victory conditions are you have to control 2 out of the 3 objectives in the center as the first victory condition. The The second victory condition is you either must kill or demoralize the faction leaders. For the Atlantis Guild, it is High Mage Oric, who is on the Scorpion Mount. For the Knights Immortal, it is Paladin Prince Thirion and Elizabeth the Pure. For the armies, it is 608 points on each side, led by Oric, a High Mage, a High Battle Mage on a Scorpion Mount, 2 Amotep Gunners, 2 Demi-Maguses, 2 Crossbowmen, 3 Blade Golems, 2 Brass Golems, 2 Whirling Golems, 2 Guardsmen, 2 Fighting Automatons, and finally a Scorpion Gunner on a Scorpion Mount. For the Knights Immortal, they meet as well with 608 points. It is the Paladin Prince Thirion. Also, Elizabeth the Pure, she is on the 4th slot. 3 Temple Blade Masters, 3 Elven Recruits, 1 Heavy Cavalier on Warhorse, 1 Light Cavalier on Warhorse, a Tribo, an Elven Falconer, a Liege Knight, 2 Shieldwalled Knights, an Elf at Arms, and 3 Riven Guard. The two armies stare at each other, the tensions rising. The battle begins. On the Knights Immortal turn, they roll for their command first. No command this turn. The Riven Guard move towards the south to advance to contest and grab the southern objective. The Shieldwall Knights move up behind cover, protected by the Liege Knight, to also grab and hold the center objective. The cavalry, led on by Elizabeth, moves up behind the Liege Knight, along with the Elven Falconer. The Tribo moves up behind the ruins and cover. The recruits move to the top objective to contest and hold it. Finally, the Paladin Prince and his guard of Temple Blade Masters move to support the Tribo. Atlantis Guild. The command roll yields nothing. The Whirling Golems and the Guardsmen move up towards the center to protect and guard the center objective. One of the Gunners and the Crossbowmen move up to the hill to take positions. The other Gunner, as well as the Guards, as well as the Crossbowmen, supported by 2 Demi-Maguses, move up to the center of the hill to get good firing positions on the line. The High Mage moves up and uses his Magic Blast on the Tribo. He rolls an 8 to hit, which is a hit, but it only does 1 damage. The Tribo takes 1 damage. Demi-Magus pushes to attack the the Scorpion Gunner moves up to attack one of the Shieldwall Knights, one of the Cavalry, and hoping to damage it, but with battle armor and cover, he misses. He'll rebuild the battlefield before the Knights Immortal turn. The Knights Immortal gain an extra action, although it is not used this turn. Having used most of their troops, the Knights Immortal primarily just clean off their troops. The Light Cav pushes to charge one of the Ultima Gunners. He attacks, doing 3 damage. On the Atlantis Guild turn, the Blade Golems and Brass Golems move up the north to also contest the top objective. The Mage targets the Liege Knight. The Demi-Magus targets the Liege Knight, hoping to hit him. But with a 6, he is not able to hit the 17 defense of the Liege Knight. On the Knights Immortal's turn, the command roll. The Paladin heals the Tribo from the 1 damage it took from the High Mage. With only 1 damage to be healed, he's up to full. The Tribo moves on the hill and shoots at the Blade Golem to the to the bottom. Having hit with an 8, he does 3 damage, ignoring the battle armor with Pierce. The falconer moves to get a better position and double attacks the 2 guardsmen who are guarding the center objective. She hits, doing 1 damage to each of the 2 guardsmen, weakening them. The Shield Wall Knights engage the front lines, supported by the Mage Knight and Elabeth. The Heavy Cavalier also moves. The Blade Masters move on the north to engage the Blade Golem and the 2 Brass Golems. The Riven Guard move to guard the southern flank, but aren't able to get in range of combat. The Atlantis Guild turn. The command roll is a 1. The High Battle Mage moves up to a better position and targets Elabeth, rolling an 8 to hit. He does 4 damage, heavily injuring Elabeth. The Scorpion Gunner also, the Demi-Magus also attacks one of the Riven Guard before they're able to engage in hand-to-hand. But he misses. The Scorpion Gunner misses. The other Otobek Gunner attacks the Light Cavalry, hitting him and doing 3 damage to him. The Demi-Magus now shoots the Riven Guard. He hits with a 9 and does 6 damage, killing the Riven Guard, though he takes 1 damage in magic retaliation. The Whirling Golem attacks one of the Shield Wall Knights, hitting him and rolling a 5 for Weapon Master damage, heavily injuring the Shield Wall Knight. The 2 Crosswomen do a combined shooting on the Riven Guard, but they miss. An overview of the battlefield after the Atlantis Guild turn. The Knights Immortal turn, they roll for their command, getting a 2 and 3. The recruits move towards the center to reinforce. The Light Cav breaks away, moving back towards the center to be healed. The Tribro moves towards the south, pushing to attack the other flamer, the Untum shooter, Gunner, who is the flamer. He hits with a 9, heavily damaging the other Gunner, removing their flaming attack, although he takes pushing damage. With the Knights Immortal not having extra actions, they choose to pass to not activate anyone. On the Atlantis Guild turn, the High Mage rolls a 2 for command. The Crossbowmen and the Gunners move to engage the Riven Guard on the south. The Blade Golems surround while the Scorpion Gunner moves onto the hill to shoot. He also bases both of the Demi-Maguses to gain 2 extra damage on his Magic Blast. The Scorpion Gunner shoots at the Tribo, hitting him, doing 5 damage to him with Magic Blast, and demoralizing him. The Blade Golems attack the Southern Temple Blade Master, but rolls double 1s, taking damage. The Brass Golem attacks, but also misses. And finally, the third Brass Golem attacks, but also misses. At the Atlantis Guild turn, we see that the Atlantis Guild are holding on the south and north, while the Scorpion Gunner continues to injure the back lines of the Knights Immortal. For the command roll of 3 and 5, no extra actions. Elabeth, taking heavy damage, moves back out of range of the High Mage. She will primarily be using her healing abilities. The Light Cav pushes to reach the Paladin Prince, taking damage. The Paladin Prince attacks the Light Cav, and hits, allowing him to heal the Light Cav for 4 damage, and that is enough to fully heal the Light Cav. The Riven Guard towards the north, having turned to face the two Blade Golems, attacks one of the Blade Golems, hitting him and rolling a 5 for Weapon Master damage, heavily injuring one of the Blade Golems. The Temple Blade Masters attack the Golems, starting with the top Temple Blade Master attacking the Brass Golem, doing damage, 3 damage, and injuring it. The second Temple Blade Master attacks the center Brass Golem, hitting it and doing 4 damage. Onto the Atlantis Guild turn. For the command roll for the High Mage, it's only a 2. The Demi-Magus, seeing that the Tri-Bow is injured, Magic blasts the Tri-Bow to kill it. He hits with a 6. Rolling 2 damage is enough to kill the Tri-Bow. The High Mage moves in base contact with one of the Demi-Maguses and shoots the Liege Knight. He rolls a 7 and rolls a maximum of 6 on the Magic Blast. It is 7 damage with the Demi-Magus, heavily injuring and demoralizing the Liege Knight. They are no longer protected by his defend. The Guardsmen push and attack the Heavy Cavalier, but also miss. The Whirling Golem attacks the other Shield Wall Knight that hasn't been injured. He hits him and also does 5 Weapon Master damage. Now both the Shield Wall Knights are now demoralized. The Demi-Magus is weakened but shoots at the Elven Recruit in the back line. He hits, doing 3 damage. That 3 damage is enough to kill one of the Elven Recruits. On the Atlantis Guild turn, they unleash and do a lot of damage on the Knights, killing some and injuring others. The Whirling Golem moves also after the attacks to flank the Heavy Cav. On the Knights Immortal turn, the command roll gives 1 extra action. The Heavy Cavalier passes his breakaway, doing damage to both of the soldiers who were in base contact with her. She moves to engage the Scorpion Gunner to prevent him from shooting his flanking attack. That's the push damage from the Heavy Cavalier. The Falconer moves to attack the Demi-Magus. She rolls a 7, which is enough to hit him, doing 2 damage and removing his magic enhancement. The Riven Guard, having injured one Blade Golem, pushes to attack the other one. She hits and does another 5 damage. The Riven Guard has single-handedly weakened both of the Blade Golems on the south. She does take some fatigue damage. The Temple Blade Master attacks and barely hits, but his Weapon Master only allows 1 damage to the Blade Golem. The other Riven Guard attacks one of the crossbows, hitting him and doing 2 damage, but injuring him some. The Liege Knight moves back to get away from the fighting and to be healed by Elabeth. The recruits and the Elf at Arms move to engage the Whirling Golem. At the end of the turn, the Knights Immortal have taken heavy damage and are attempting to heal some of their troops. The Atlantis Guild turn. On a 6, they get an extra action from the High Mage's command. The Blade Golems combo attack the Riven Guard, hurting her, but also taking damage from magic retaliation. The automatons move up from the objective to pressure the backline. The Blade Golem attacks, but another miss. The Whirling Golem pushes to attack the Elf at Arms, hitting him and doing 2 damage to him. The High Mage pushes to attack the Heavy Cavalier for just a flat 5 damage. He heavily injures the Heavy Cavalier. There's his push damage. The 2 gunners combine to attack the Riven Guard, doing 1 damage, but also taking 1 damage in magic retaliation. The other 2 crossbowmen attack the Riven Guard. They backstrike, doing a 10 will hit. They do 1 additional damage, but that gunner also takes 1 damage, demoralizing him. On the overview field, the Atlantis Guild continue to do damage and to pressure the back lines of Knights Immortal. On the Knights Immortal turn, a 4 and 5 are rolled for command. The Heavy Cavalier and Liege Knight move away closer to Ilibeth to be healed. The Light Cav charge the Whirling Golem in the back line. The Light Cav hits the Whirling Golem, doing 3 damage. The Temple Blade Master attacks the Brass Golem, doing 6 damage, killing the Brass Golem. The middle Temple Blade Master attacks the Brass Golem, hitting it, only doing 2 damage. He is still barely alive. The Shield Wall Knight attempts to break away from the Whirling Golem, but fails. Ilibeth double heals the Liege Knight and Heavy Cav, rolling an 8. She rolls a 3 for both, healing both for 3. The Heavy Cav and the Liege Knight. The Elphadon pushes and attacks the Whirling Golem to finish it off. He hits, finishing off the Whirling Golem. At the overview, the Knights Immortal begin to heal some of their damage and also begin to make headway on the northern flank. The Atlantis Guild turn. A 5 is rolled for command. The Demi-Magus tries to kill the Cavalier before it is healed. He uses his Magic Blast to attack, but he misses, needing an 8. The Whirling Golem tries to finish off the Shield Wall Knight. He attacks, but only rolling a 3, he also misses. The Blade Golem, being weakened, pushes to attack the Temple Blade Master, but also misses. At the end of the thing, the Atlantis Guild are beginning to weaken a little bit as their lines have taken damage. They've also not been able to attack as they should. The 2 fighting automatons move to engage the cavalry units and the falconer in the back line from the south. The Knights Immortal turn. They roll another 6 on their command rolls and they get an extra action. The Paladin Prince moves to support and heal the Shield Wall Knights. Also, with his command ability, he will attempt to try and get a free heal off on them. The recruits combo attack the guardsmen, but they roll double 1s, a crit failure, and the Elven recruit takes 1 damage. The Light Cav pushes to attack the fighting automaton, but at a 4 he also misses, taking 1 fatigue damage. The Temple Blade Master attacks to finish off the Blade Golem. He hits and kills the Blade Golem. The Falconer attacks the fighting automaton. She hits and does 2 damage. The Temple Blade Master in the middle pushes to kill the last golem to free up the flank. He rolls an 8, doing flat 3 damage. He kills the last brass golem. The Temple Blade Masters have now broken the northern flank. Finally, the Liege Knight moves into base contact with the Paladin to heal. A critical turning point in the battle, the Knights gain the upper hand. On the Atlantis Guild turn, a 6 is rolled for the command, giving them an extra action this turn. Seeing the battle begin to, the High Mage beginning to see them lose the battle, desperation begins to set in, and therefore the High Mage devises a desperate strategy. The Whirling Golem is ordered to attack while he still can. He attacks and hits the Shield Wall Knight, killing him. The High Battle Mage moves them into base contact with the Demi-Magus and shoots at the Temple Blade Master. He hits, and since it's magic enhancement, he simply does his flat 4 damage, critically injuring him. And finally, the horrible strategy is revealed. The Scorpion Gunner is ordered to move into base contact with the Demi-Magus and to fire into the Blade Masters, which would flaming attack all the Elven line, but also hurt their own men. Hesitant at first, the Scorpion Gunner finally agrees. They would fire both on friend and foe. He enlists a devastating flaming attack. The flames go through the ranks, killing and maiming. Several of the Knights Immortal take damage, but also several of the Atlantis Guild troops also take damage. Those that survive are heavily injured. The Paladin and Blade Masters take less damage due to magic immunity, but are also injured. The Automaton pushes and attacks and injures the Heavy Cav. She's now heavily injured again. The Fighting Automaton, who is with the Falconer, also attacks, but barely misses. The Blade Golem attacked to finish the Riven Guard. He hits, killing the Riven Guard. The other Blade Golem moves to engage the last Riven Guard. The desperate strategy works. The Knights Immortal are heavily injured. On the Knights Immortal turn, 2/2s are rolled for their command rolls. The Knights work on this turn to contain the damage and heal the wounded. The Heavy Cav breaks away to be healed, damaging the Automaton. Elizabeth double heals the Liege Knight and the Heavy Cav. She hits, healing 1 for 5 and 1 for 4. The Heavy Cav is healed for 4 damage. The Liege Knight is healed for 5 damage. The Blade Master moves to block the shooting. He moves into base contact to block the Mage and the Scorpion Gunner from shooting. He knows that he may not survive, but his life may save many others. The Elf at Arms moves to be healed by the Paladin. Being the only one left, the Riven Guard continues to attack. She attacks the Blade Golem, hitting it, doing 2 damage to it. At the end of the turn, the Knights Immortal manage to do some healing and shore up their lines. They also have a Temple Blade Master who moves to contain the vicious shooting of the 2 Scorpion Gunners. On the Atlantis Guild turn, a 6 is rolled for the command, giving it an extra action. The High Mage, understanding that the Temple Blade Master can be deadly if it pushes, attacks him to weaken him before that happens. He hits and does 4 damage to the Temple Blade Master, heavily injuring him. The Demi-Magus blasts the Light Cav, but misses with a 7, needing 1 more. The Crossbowmen attack the Riven Guard, hitting it and doing 1 damage to her. The crossbow shoots the Light Cav on the crossbow on the hill shoots the Light Cav, hitting it and doing 1 damage to him. At the end of the Atlantis Guild turn, the Scorpion Gunners are trying to fend off the Temple Blade Master so they can get shooting attacks. The southern flank has crumbled as the last of the Riven Guard is barely alive. but the center as well is being slowly overrun by the knights. The guardsmen break away to move to the demoralized recruit in the center and freeing up a firing line. The blade golems advance to engage the back line of the knights. On the Knight's Immortal turn, a 5 and a 3 are rolled for the command checks. The Paladin heals the Elf at Arms, healing him for 4 damage. The Light Cav attacks to finish off the Automaton. He hits him, killing him. The Falconer continues to attack the fighting Automaton, hitting it and wounding it further. The Liege Knight attacks the Whirling Golem, hitting it and further injuring it. The Temple Blade Master moves to base the Ultim Crossbowman. The other Temple Blade Master moves to base the Paladin, hoping to gain 1 free damage being demoralized. On the Atlantis Guild turn, a 5 is rolled for command. The Gunner attacks the Temple Blade Master, hitting it and finally finishing it off. The Blade Golem tries to kill the last Riven Guard. He hits and demoralizes her. The Crossbowmen attack the back of the final Riven Guard, hitting her and finally killing her. The Crossbowman attacks the Temple Blade Master, but misses. The Fighting Automaton attacks the Falconer, but also misses. At the end of the Atlantis Guild turn, the Scorpion Gunner frees up both the Mage and the Gunner to be able to attack again. A wounded Demi-Magus moves on top of the center of the hill. On the Knight's Immortal turn, a 1 and 4 rolled for command. Seeing both the Mage and the Scorpion free, the Knights move to hold off their deadly ranged weapons. One of the Temple Blade Masters who is demoralized is healed 1 from command. Elabeth heals the Heavy Cav and the Elf at Arms. She hits both, and rolling enough to heal fully both of them. Both the Heavy Cav and the Elf at Arms are healed to full. The Temple Blade Master attacks the Crossbowman to cut a line through. He hits, doing 6 damage and killing the Crossbowman. The Heavy Cav charges the Blade Golem, hitting it and doing 4 damage to it, killing the Blade Golem. The Light Cav pushes and charges the Whirling Golem to free up the Liege Knight. He hits and kills the Whirling Golem. The Elf at Arms is able to move through a hole in the line to engage both the High Mage and the Scorpion again. Another life to be sacrificed to stop their ranged weapons. At the end of the turn, more healing has happened, as well as another Elf at Arms has moved to base and stop the shooting of the High Mage and the Scorpion Gunner. Onto the Atlantis Guild turn. A 5 is rolled, and so no extra command rolls. The High Mage attacks the Elf at Arms, hitting him and heavily damaging him. The Demi-Magus shoots, but is too weak to hit the Light Cav. The Automaton also attacks, but also misses the Falconer, becoming more and more weak. The crossbow on the hill shoots the light cav, hitting him and wounding him for 1 damage. Desperate, the Scorpion Gunner pushes to kill the Elf at Arms. He hits, killing the Elf at Arms as well. Additional movements move up to. Additional of the Atlantis Guild troops are move up to gain the center, but there are also many are weakened. The Knights move even closer as the weakened Atlantis lines begin to crumble. On the Knights Immortal turn, a 1 and a 6-year roll for commands, giving an extra action. The Paladin heals the Blade Master, hitting him and rolling a 5 to heal him for 5. The Falconer continues to attack the wounded automaton, hitting him and wounding him further. The Temple Blade Master and Mage Knight move to engage both the Scorpion Gunner and the Mage. On the Atlantis Guild turn, things are looking grim. A 4 is rolled on the command check. Desperation sets in as the troops are too weakened to continue to fight, while the Knights continue to heal their wounded. The Bully Golem moves forward to attack the backline, hoping to hurt who they can. Needing to strike true on the Temple Blade Master before he attacks, the High Mage attacks but misses. He can't believe it as he stands there ready to receive the attack of the Temple Blade Master. Desperate, the troops push to damage who they can, but they miss. The crossbowman attacks again. He pushes to attack the light cav, further injuring him. On the final Knight's Immortal turn, the seething at the loss of his brothers, the Temple Blade Master pushes to attack the High Mage. He hits and rolls a 4 damage, rocking the Mage. The Mage Knight also pushes to strike the High Mage. He hits, doing 2 further damage and demoralizing the High Mage. Weakened, the High Mage falls over and begs for mercy. Surrender, we surrender, all of you, the High Mage says. Surrender. The troops almost happily lay down their arms. As the troops begin to surrender, the battlefield slowly quiets down. The battlefield is bloody, but the Atlantis Guild quietly give up their arms. The golems are also turned off by the mage. The Paladin Prince, relieved that the battle is over, stares at the battlefield. Thirion and Ilibeth look sadly down at the dead strewn across the land. What was all this for, they thought. Just some shiny stones. After the battlefield, High Mage Oric is brought in to speak with the Paladin Prince Thirion. Thirion speaks to his prisoner. The Black Dragon Knights have no desire to hold you prisoner. Go back to your lands with your troops. Hug your loved ones. Be thankful for what you have and forget the crystals you found. Oric snorts. It is not that easy. Do you think we enjoy killing? Our empire is beset on all sides, from rebels and barbarians. How long will our loved ones last? Even more worrying, says Oric, are the whispers of a great darkness rising, silent for now, biding its time, gathering its strength, until the time to strike is right. Do you think your people will be left untouched, fool? Thirion laughs. I am not so easily swayed by boogeymen just meant to scare children into becoming home before dark. Go now. Go in peace if you can. Oric laughs sadly. Peace. there is no peace. At the end of the battlefield, the Knights Immortal will receive 6 victory points. The Atlantis Guild will lose 6 victory points. Thank you for watching. Play against me on the Universal Battle. I'd love to get feedback, especially on this campaign battle report. Like, subscribe, and comment. And if you're in the Austin area, you can always join the Austin Alternative Gaming Freaks group. Thank you all so very much.